Joining the meeting.
Lene Magnuson with GRIP.
By the way, that did get that one. I said it. She sent it to him. How to use it. I didn't send any questions in, so I gotta do it. Who's that? Enhancement. What is that? I just come. I don't know why. Didn't know anything. Okay. Oh, I see it. You don't even remember they got those envelopes. That's my right into this issue. They can't get it. It was.
You came in that.
say that it's going to start. It started 5 minutes ago. Okay, maybe up to 9:05, but it doesn't start.
It came on and he said they now they move it to 9:05, but the first man that said it was going to start at 9:05, he spoke right into the thing and had it clear words, but the other people, I don't know what they're saying.
Well, it's first time for me too. I'm sure. So I just call.
Has the meeting started?
No.
Joining the meeting.
Hi, Donna, hi. If you'll keep dialing in.
In all the years I've been with him,
I don't know if there's a food bag person here.
I forgot it was person here.
Hi guys, this is Caitlin from the food bank. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, so Kenny and Corey are setting up the call. They're having some technical difficulties, so if you guys could just hold tight for a couple minutes, I'm going to check in with them, see what's going on, and they should be on the call in just a few minutes.
Oh,
sorry about that. Yeah.
Caitlin, can you hear me?
Oh, are you there?
Yes, I just realized one of our buttons got double punched and it had remuted us after we unmuted. So,
oh, okay.
All right, everybody, we've only started the first part. I'm going to go back to the very beginning. Good morning. This is Kenny Mueller at the food bank, joined with Corey and Heidi with agency relations. Caitlin, thank you for the heads up. So it looks like we had a problem with the audio getting through. So I'm going to go back to the agenda. This morning we are going to start with Agency Enhancement Grant Basics. We're going to review the 2015 Agency Enhancement Grant Cycle. We're going to look forward to how the 2016 grants are going to be working. We are going to move on to the letter of intent and spend the majority of our time this morning with that. And we're going to leave a lot of time for your questions and for discussion. And anything that we do not get to today, don't fret, don't worry. We're going to have multiple avenues for you guys to submit questions. And on Monday, we're going to have this recording and frequently asked questions sent out to everybody so that you guys can all have the full suite of information and knowledge on how this is going to work. So let's get... So the food bank...
I have a...
Oh, sorry. So what? Oh, yeah.
How long is this going to, is this an hour or a half hour or
yeah.
I have a dentist appointment at 10.
Okay, so we're going to...
And I'm just...
So I do have to say, anybody with particular questions, we do not have time to address individual questions. But in terms of timelines, this call is going to be done by 5 minutes to 10. I have a hard deadline on that to make sure everybody's able to get to their next appointment. So even with this little bit of a late start, we have more than enough time to get through all the information today. So I'm going to start with the overview of agency enhancement. The goal of these grants is to improve you as a member agency of the food bank, to improve your capacity to end hunger among the population that you're serving. These funds are considered strategic investments by the food bank to improve the quantity and or quality of anti-hunger interventions. Partner agencies, that's you, are responsible for implementing the project and also for tracking performance. Last year was the first year that we did agency enhancement. It was opened up just like this year to pantries and soup kitchens that are member agencies of the food bank. We had over 60 applicants last year, and about half of those were funded. The smallest award was in the range of $1,000, and the largest was $5,000. We awarded a total of $98,000 last year, and there was a 12-month implementation period. That's how long you had from the day that you got the money to the day that you were able to had to stop spending it. And we learned a lot. We already have done the mid-year reviews of those projects. We've talked to all of the agencies that were implementing them, and we made some changes that we hope will help you as a partner agency have a very successful project if you do get monies awarded. You still have to be a pantry or soup kitchen in good standing with the food bank. So what this means is that you need to have your bills paid on time. If you have anything overdue, now's the time to pay it. All your reports need to be in, whether that's your monthly service statistics, your Thanksgiving or Christmas report, or if you did FEMA last year, that you sent that in on time. This year, the award amounts for individual agencies are the same, but there's less total money available. The largest amount is going to be capped at $5,000. Equipment purchases still require a 50% match. And there is a special CalFresh outreach pot of money available. So if you want to do something focused on CalFresh outreach, be aware that there are some money set aside specifically for that. And one of the biggest changes this year is a 5-month implementation period, down from 12 months last year. So what this means is that we saw the most successful projects in 2015 had very effective planning on the front end. They knew exactly what they were going to do with this money when it was awarded. And once they got their check cut, they were ready to already start moving on their project. So what this looks like in terms of a schedule is today, the 29th, we have the conference call. We're gathering questions, making sure everybody has all of those met. 2 weeks from Monday, on February 15th, letters of intent are due at the food bank. Not postmarked, they're due at the food bank. March 15th, we're going to have a conference call with the group, February 29th, we're going to be inviting successful letter of intent writers to, we're going to choose the projects that we'd like to invite to apply. On March 15th, we're going to have a second conference call with that group to answer any questions that they have and make sure everybody's on the same page. March 31st is the applications will be due, and we're going to be funding agencies on May 1st. Since the grant year is going to be ending on September 30th, we are going to be checking in with people in about July to check in and just see how projects are going. Again, the project will end by September 30th, and October 15th is the hard deadline for end-of-the-year grant reports. Just a heads up, the decision was made that if that report is not in for this grant, you will not have your holiday assistance application. We're not going to be able to accept it. So just know that if you're going to be accepting these grant monies, that you need to have October 15th on your schedule as soon as you decide you're going to apply for this. So right now I am going to open it up to questions. We have a few things we're going to do to try and keep this organized. If you could just write down your questions so you don't forget it before you're done, and also if we're not able to get to you, so that you can make sure to email it to us afterwards. If when you ask, if you don't mind starting with your name, agency, and city, so we can make sure we know who we are talking to. If you can try to make it a general question, we're going to avoid answering any that are specific just to your agency and situation so that this call is more accessible to everybody. Anything that is agency specific, you can get in touch with us and we will answer the question that you have. In the interest of time, please be concise. And we are going to start with any agencies up in the Vacaville and Dixon area. Is there anybody from Vacaville or Dixon that has a question for us?
Yes, Don Kirk, St. Mary's Food Lockers, Actonville.
Hi, Don.
Yeah, the letter of intent, how detailed do you want that letter?
Okay, so we're actually going to go over that in just a minute. So you actually reminded me, any questions right now are about like the timeline, what kind of agencies this grant is open to, basically anything we've discussed so far. We're going to go really into detail for letter of intent next.
Okay.
Anybody else from North Solano? All right, how about Central Solano? Anybody from the Fairfield area?
I have a question. This is Vivian Martin from St. Stephen's Feed My Sheep.
Howdy.
And hi. You said something about the October 15th.
Mm-hmm.
That something has to be in. Is that like our stats for that grant year? Would have to be in like how many people we fed, or what exactly does that entail?
Yeah, so that final report will be, that's included. That's actually something that you do need to be thinking about, is how you're going to be measuring any kind of outcomes that you're going to be proposing these monies will lead to. But it's a little more detailed than just that. It includes, how did your process work? Like, were there any changes to your implementation? But overall, it's pretty basic. It's a couple pages, and yeah, it's not. I wouldn't anticipate it taking more than an hour or two to complete.
Okay. Okay. So will we get something with how it should be set up?
Yep. But for now, yeah. But for now, you don't have to worry about it. That'll be very clearly communicated if you get this money awarded to you.
Okay. Cool.
Cool. That's a good question.
Thank you.
Anybody from South Solano? Anybody in like the Vallejo area? Tanisha?
Kenny, this is Tess, Catholic Charities.
Hi, Tess.
I sent out last Wednesday about 3 questions, but I guess it will be on your next agenda. So I'll just wait.
All right, cool. Thanks, Tess. Yep, Tess was one of the people who sent in questions before, and they've actually already been added to the FAQ. So thanks, Tess. Anybody else from Solano County have a question? Going once, going twice. All right, let's move on to Contra Costa. Anybody in West Contra Costa? Richmond up to Rodeo, Crockett. Anybody have any questions? If you're having trouble, just a heads up, to unmute your phone, you either hit it on your headset or star. So it sounds like nobody from West Contra Costa. Anybody in the Concord down to Pleasant Hill, Central Contra Costa area?
Hi, Kenny. This is Albert from El Sobrante.
Howdy.
Hi. I have a question. In last year's grant, we were able to buy, a computer.
Mm-hmm.
This time, what we would like to do is once we take things out of boxes and we put them on the shelves, we would like to buy a bunch of plastic containers which can be sealed. Can that money be used to buy those kinds of things?
Okay, so just a heads up, I'm going to try and generalize the question you just asked, because I'm trying to avoid any that are specific agencies. So the question is about...
So this would be a answer.
Yeah, so the question sounds like it's about, correct me if I'm wrong, can you purchase like storage containers for your food that protected from the elements, just keep it fresher? And if that is something that is going to add on to the pantry that you've already got running real smoothly, and that's going to help you increase your ability to feed the people in your community, then if you can make that case, then sure, that would be an option. That is a great question. Anybody else in East Contra Costa have any questions? Pittsburgh, Antioch, out in the Brentwood? Going once. Going twice. Anybody from Contra Costa General? And I'll open it up real quick to anybody from anywhere in our service area that has a question about what we've talked about so far. Going once, going twice. Alrighty, so thank you for those questions. We are going to move on to the letter of intent. So this is a new part of the process we're adding this year to try and make the amount of work that agencies did in terms of completing an application, to try and streamline the process for you and try to make it easier for everybody. The requirement for the letter of intent is pretty basic. It needs to provide a simple overview of the project you're going to be undertaking with agency enhancement grant funds. It's just a summary. We don't need a ton of detail, but we definitely need enough, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. It should be formatted as a business letter, so you can just go online and just see what that's supposed to look like. It is no more than 2 pages. There's no reason it should be longer than that. If it's running longer than that, that's a really good sign that you should be editing it down and that you should have a really tight, concise letter to us. Again, this is due at the food bank on Monday, February 15th, and that is a hard due date. And you can contact us anytime up to the 12th with questions about your letter of intent. The letter should have this kind of content. It should introduce your organization. It should clearly identify the problem. It should summarize the proposed solution to your project. And it should outline both total project cost and how much of that should be covered with, is going to be covered with the agency enhancement grant funds you're applying for. So when you're writing these letters, you should try and answer these 6 questions, and what we highly recommend is having somebody that is not familiar with your program, a spouse, a friend, a peer at somebody that doesn't do work like yours, and see if they can answer these 6 questions after reading your letter of intent. Why is your project needed? Who will your project help? What will your project actually do? When will your project be implemented? Where will it reach? And how are you going to sustain this impact into the future? So again, why is it needed? Who will it help? What will it do? When will it be implemented? And where will it reach? Finally, how is it going to be sustained? For example, we heard about plastic tubs. Plastic tubs are capital expenditure. Once they're bought, you don't have to keep them. You don't have to keep them plugged in. You don't have to keep them full of ice. There's no ongoing expenses once those are purchased. So for that, it would just be purchase them, we put them up. They don't need anything else to keep going forward. So at this point, we wanted to open it up to the group for questions. Again, we're going to go region by region. If you can write down your question, start with your name, agency, and city. Try and make it a general question and as concise as possible. Don't forget that *6 or just hitting the button on your handset will unmute the phone, just in case you are wondering. Promise I'm not ignoring you, and it seems like we've got the problems figured out on our end. So let's start this time with East Contra Costa. Are there any agencies out in East Contra Costa with questions? Alrighty, sounds like nobody out in East Contra Costa. What about Central Contra Costa County? Going once, going twice. Anybody out in West County in Contra Costa have any questions about what is needed in the letter of intent?
Tammy, this is Elba. Okay? Can I ask you a question?
Yep, go for it.
Okay. One of the things that I have concern about is that we do not have any paid staff. It's all volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that are volunteers do not have the writing skill. So I'm not feeling very comfortable with this.
Okay. So that's where you can definitely find, I mean, one thing that we found is, and it is kind of a tight timeline, you've got about 2 weeks. We are going to be including on the FAQ resources, like places you can see letters that are just like this. And also something to keep in mind is you can always go on somewhere like Volunteer Match or Craigslist if you're comfortable with that, and you can just say, hey, we're looking for somebody with writing skills, we've got a project. And one thing that I found in my personal experience is there are lots of people out there with writing skills, and anything they can do to bolster their resume they see as a positive experience. And you can also ask, feel free to call over here to agency relations and ask us, you know, just, hey, these are some questions we've got, we're working on the letter. Again, we really want to see you guys succeed at this, and to be honest, the best outcome for us is that we have just really, really difficult decisions to make when it comes down to allocating the money. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Anybody else in Contra Costa County with any questions?
Yes, this is Gerald Burns with the Bay Area Rescue Mission.
Howdy.
Hi. On your project costs for related equipment, do you want those spelled out specifically, where they're coming from, cost involved, anything like that?
Yeah, if you can just give us a real quick summary on the in the letter, like let's say you've got a $10,000 project and you know it's for equipment, and so you're going to apply for a $5,000 match. You would just say, hey, yeah, you know, like we've been fundraising for this other $5,000. This is how much we've already got. This is how much we have left. Here's our strategy for that. So yeah, if you can just give us a quick overview of where the money is going to be coming from, that really helps us out.
And I'm going to jump in really quickly. This is hello. This is Caitlin from.
Hi, Caitlin.
So I really quickly in the letter of intent, I would tell us what you plan to buy and how much you plan to spend on it. You don't have to give us a whole lot of detail of like where you're going to buy it from and all that. Sure. That will come in once we do the full-blown application. We will ask for all that more detailed information.
All right. Thank you, Caitlin.
Thank you, Caitlin. All righty. Anybody else in Contra Costa? Going once? Going twice? All right. South Solano. Anybody in the Vallejo, Benicia area have any questions?
Okay, Kenny, I guess this is the time that, you know, the advanced question that I did.
Go for it.
Okay, so my first question was, is there a minimum or maximum amount that an agency can request?
Okay, so there is no minimum, but there's a $5,000 maximum.
Okay, and then my next question is, with the projects that our agency will pursue, are we limited to just one project, or we can squeeze two projects, say, for example, 2005 for this and 2005 for that, as long as we justify why we are doing it? Is that okay?
Yeah, so you can, you are welcome to submit more than one project to us. Like the question, is your question also include, Tess, if you have a couple related kind of aspects of a project, can you include them on one letter of intent? Am I understanding that correctly?
Yes. So say, for example, I would want equipment and food. So will that work?
You know what? That is a question that I don't think we have discussed. So be on the lookout in the FAQ, and we will have an answer for everybody at that point.
So I would say, this is Caitlin again. Sorry, I would say that if your project includes both equipment and food. If you need equipment and you need food to execute this one project, then that would go on one letter of intent. If you have two projects, one of which that needs, you know, just equipment and one of which needs food, then you would want to submit two grants, basically. You're asking for two different projects, in which case we would only fund one of them, but you're more than welcome to submit more than one project. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, but my intent is really like 2005 for equipment and 2005 for food, something like that. So it will still be one letter of intent, right?
Yeah, that would be one letter of intent. Yeah.
Okay, and going back to, I heard, Kenny, that there is a 50% match. What is that you mentioned? I was kind of slow writing it down.
That's okay. So, so the 50% match requirement is for any equipment you're going to be applying for. So, like the most common example is a refrigerator or freezer. And that just means if the cost of that piece of equipment is $2,000, this grant can cover $1,000 of it.
I see. Okay, understood. Good.
Cool. Thanks, Tess. Anybody else from the South Solano area? Anybody from Central Solano in the Fairfield area?
I have a question. But my question is something I missed that you had, you read it twice. I still missed the last two. And that was the 6 things that should be in our letter. And I'm missing 5 and 6, the last 2.
Okay.
So if you could repeat that for me, please, I'd appreciate it.
So let's go. I'm going to just, for anybody following online, I'm going to take the slides back. So the question is, the letter of intent, there were 6 questions that we said we should be able to answer when we're reading your letter. And here are the 6 questions. Why is it needed? Who will it help? What will it do? When will it be implemented? Where will it So, you know, the geographic area, let's say, like a well-defined neighborhood. You'll say like that neighborhood.
Okay.
And how will it be sustained? I'll give people a heads up.
How will it be what?
How will the project be sustained? So after the,
how will it be sustained?
Yep. So after you've expended these funds and this investment has been made in your pantry or soup kitchen, how is that impact going to go on beyond the initial investment?
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty. So anybody from the Vacaville or Dixon area have any questions? Going once, going twice. I'm going to open it up to Solano County. Anybody with any questions? And just to let everybody know, we've got a time check. We have 15 minutes left. I'm going to open it up to any questions from our entire region. Anybody have any questions they want to ask about the letters of intent? Going once, going twice. Alrighty. So in that case, we're just going to go over next steps, and then I'm going to open it up after I talk about those. For
Kenny?
Oh, yes.
Kenny? This is Alba. I'm sorry, but I could have moved fast enough.
Okay.
I wanted to ask, my question is, are you, the lady was saying when you were talking about the freezer, so if I put, I'm not gonna, if one of the agencies wanted to buy a freezer, that means that you could only give them half of the money and the rest has to be like we did last year?
Yes. Yep. Just like last year, there's a 50% match for any equipment purchases.
Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to move into next steps. So the first thing to do is research and develop any project information you feel like you're missing. If after we've given you what the questions are that you should be able to answer, if you're like, yikes, we can't answer this one very clearly, go back, find out any information, have a completed draft of your letter of intent, have somebody review it. You can contact agency relations with questions, including those specific to just your project. You need to contact us by Friday, February 12th. We're not going to be available on the 15th to answer questions. And make sure that that copy is to us by Monday, February 15th. The original email has instructions. Those should be directed to Caitlin. And if you've not gotten a confirmation from Caitlin that she received the letter of intent, then that means she did not. So give her, like a day to confirm that she received it, but just know that she is going to be confirming receipt for all letters. So at this point, it is 9:41. We do have 14 minutes if anybody wants to make use of them. So I'm going to open it up to the whole region, Contra Costa and Solano. If anybody has questions before we wrap up this morning, now is the time.
I have a question, Kenny.
Okay.
So the letter of intent can be either emailed or faxed or mailed. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks.
Welcome.
Hi, this is Chela Gonzalez from St. Vincent de Paul in Pittsburgh.
Hi, Chela.
Hi, and I have a question regarding the documents that are due on October 15th, the grant information. Can you give a little bit more detail about what's expected in that document?
So in terms of what's due on February 15th, it is just the letter of intent. We're not going to be asking for supporting documentation, but we will expect if you said that you've gotten an estimate and the freezer is going to be $1,000, we expect that you actually went and had that estimate. You got it somewhere. We're not going to ask you to submit though with the letter. So just so we're going to.
I'm sorry. Did I say February? I meant October 15th.
Oh, the October 15th. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're
okay.
There's a lot of 15ths in here. So the October 15th final report is going to be looking at, in terms of like your responsibility as somebody taking this money, we really look at it as you're partnering with us to make an investment in your pantry or soup kitchen. So that report is going to be looking at, was there a change in how many people you were serving and what you were serving them? So maybe the amount of food increased, the quality of food increased, the amount of people you were serving changed, it went up. Maybe you're seeing a lot more diabetics at your pantry since you went to client choice and made another investment that you guys came up with, and you're noticing that those people are reporting that they're healthier, that they're not having as many poor outcomes of their diabetes now that they're able to access enough fruits and vegetables. That's the kind of questions we're going to be asking, is around those, being able to identify those kind of outcomes.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else with any questions? All righty. In that case, I would. Oh.
It's Alba.
Hi, Alba.
Okay. Real quick question. One of the things that we have found out the last couple of years is the increase of children during the summer and holidays. And would that be something that is increased? Could we go towards in the next, in this summer coming and holidays of increasing better foods for those children?
Okay, so I'm going to restate your question and correct me if I'm wrong. So Elba works for St. Callistus in West Contra Costa, and she said that they're noticing that basically when school is out, that there's a greater need among families with children for food since the kids aren't able to get school lunches and breakfasts. Is that a good summary?
Yes, because the schools are closed, so they have no, they can't go, they're not being fed at school.
Okay, so yeah, so her question is, could you apply for something to address that need that they've identified in the community? And yeah, if you can make a case for why you're best positioned to serve them, then that's something you could apply for or make a letter for.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty, any other questions? Alrighty, so it sounds like everybody has had the questions they've got on their mind this morning answered. If you have any additional questions, again, don't hesitate to reach out. We are available just on our contact information, or you can submit them to agency@foodbankccs.org. I am going down the chat box, and it doesn't look like we have any new questions here. So,
hey, Reverend Slade.
Hi.
Leo. Hi, Leo. I just want to make a comment. I want to say thank you. You and Caitlin for what you're doing and what you've done for us today. And I think we all have been blessed by it. Thank you, my friend.
Oh, you're very welcome. Well, that's a great way to end the call. So thank you, everybody, for attending. We look forward to hearing about all the great ideas you guys have, and we look forward to hearing from you guys in the next couple of weeks. Be on the lookout for the recording of this call, and the question answers are going to be coming out on Monday. And otherwise, everybody have a safe and happy weekend. We will talk to you soon.